So today we are focusing on Infia's story. And let me say, like I said, I am still very emotional in this story. And it's just the beginning of a new chapter and a new path. Before we dive in, let's first bring our viewers and listeners up to speed by sharing this, a little bit of tidbit to start off the amazing news. Okay?
Do you want to just kind of open us up and tell us?
Yeah. So my Hope sisters, I love you all. I am pregnant. Oh man. To God be the glory.
Oh, I love that. Congratulations. Yes. Like, still very emotional because, first of all, I personally battled with infertility. Mine was brought on by fibroids instead of the PCOS. But going through this journey with you and seeing your healing unfold is it's just a joy and a gift. So, again, congratulations. Yes, I'm a proud auntie. I'm a proud auntie, and I have to show our baby's first photo. Which you shared with us this week. I love that. I love technology. Anyway, but as I said, I know your head is spinning, Infia, because I mean, like 2 weeks ago, you were feeling defeated. You were feeling like, oh my God, like my journey is so long, and I don't know if it's working, and I don't know what's happening. And I want you to share honestly with us. And before we even get there, I want people to know your medical story and what you had to battle to get to this point. So please share with us.
Thank you. So when I'm 34 years old, and when I was 13, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. That's juvenile diabetes. That's the kind where your pancreas doesn't work anymore. Your beta cells are no longer making insulin at all. So there's no, according to what medicine will tell you, what the doctors will tell you, there is no diet or lifestyle management to fix it. You are on insulin forever. And that was a very devastating diagnosis to my parents, but I was still young enough that I felt like, okay, this is just part of the lifestyle, and I was able to roll with it. With that, I mean, and again, I feel like this is very common for people. I began gaining weight over time. And by the time I was in my mid to late 20s, I was over 215 pounds. And at 5'1", that put me morbidly obese. So it was in 2013 actually that I went for bariatric surgery, because it's just so funny. Everything is related, right? Mm-hmm. The diabetes helped me, or it certainly didn't make it easier for me to gain weight. And it made weight loss very difficult. Then once I was heavy, my diabetes was harder to control. So one thing led to another. So one of the reasons why my doctors were sort of like all for me having the surgery was, well, it'll help bring your diabetes under control because you'll be taking less insulin. At the time, that didn't really make sense to me, but I'm like, listen, anything to lose weight, I just want to look good and feel good. So in May 2013, I had the weight loss surgery, and within a year's time, I'd lost 70 pounds, and I was on a very specific diet. The diet that they put you on after surgery is very animal protein and plant protein intensive. So they're telling you, even because you can only eat about this much food in a single meal. And they're telling you, if you have no other choice, if you have a variety of things on your plate, eat the protein first. And so that means get your steak in, get your beef.
And the protein is animal protein.
100%. I was never at any point in my medical journey encouraged to do anything plant-based or vegan. And I was never dissuaded from choosing one type of protein or another. So when they're saying protein, they're saying, yeah, if you have a piece of chicken, eat the chicken. Now, of course, they're going to tell you don't have fried chicken, have baked chicken, or, have steamed chicken, but chicken is chicken. So they're always encouraging you to have the protein. And then as a matter of fact, as I started losing weight and I became really health conscious, right? I began working out intensely, and everything on the internet would lead you to believe, well, you should take protein supplements and that'll help you grow muscles, because as you grow muscles, you burn more fat. And so I was doing that. I was taking protein shakes. I was eating my lean chicken and my broccoli, thinking I'm doing something amazing for my body. And in a physical sense, I was losing weight. I was gaining muscle. I looked great.
On the outward appearance.
Exactly. Little did I know everything that was happening internally. So fast forward to 2014, my husband and I, we had been married for a little bit over a year, and we were in this place where we were like, do we want to have a baby, or like, is this something we want to do? I had reached my goal weight, so I was feeling good about it. So we said, okay, I'm going to get off the pill, because that's something else I didn't mention. I had been on birth control.
Insert the pill.
Right. And I had been on birth control. I mean, I had been on it pretty consistently since my husband and I had been together.
Okay, so let's pause for a second. So the reason you were on birth control was simply for management of procreation?
Exactly.
So there wasn't any medical reason. You were just using it because you're like, hey, it's a major planner, and everything's going to be done on a timeline.
Very, very true.
Major planner. So she was like, pause the button on that.
We'll do this when I'm good and ready. I like planning. That's a great euphemism for what I call I'm just controlling. and God is working on me, though, because
you are recovering.
I am a recovering control freak. I truly am. I am truly in healing from that.
Yes.
So I had been on the pill, and again, I mean, truthfully, when I was young, my doctor put me on the pill because I used to get very severe cramps with my period. And while my period itself was normal in terms of the blood flow.
Estrogen dominance, for women who don't realize that, when you're having any kind of irregular periods where you're having heavy bleeding, strong cramps, where you're having those kind of, and when I say irregular, it's funny because we were on one of our Beyond Fibroids Elimination program Q&A calls yesterday, and this woman was saying how one of the women was sharing her success on the program. She was sharing how her bleeding had gone from having to wear a tampon, which you should never use, tampon and a super overnight pad, and change that every hour for the first, I think it was 3 or 4 days of her cycle, to now on the program, and devastating severe cramps. So now program, no cramps whatever. She's completely cramp free, and she has she doesn't use tampons anymore. She's able to use, I think, the overnight for maybe a day, and then the regular pads. I hope we will share her testimony one day soon. But here's the day. She was like, well, I said a scale of 1 to 10. So what did you say your bleeding was before and your cramps before? She was like, well, I don't know what a 10 is. I said, well, okay, let me give you an insight as to what normal is, because you don't know what normal is.
Right.
Because normal is your period should be no more than 3 to 4 days, maybe 5, but it's very spotting at the end. And it really should be spotting, bleeding no more than about 3 tablespoons. 3 tablespoons. And every woman I say that to, they're like, what? No way. That's not possible. I've never had that period.
Right.
But that's because you grew up with foods and a lifestyle that caused you to be estrogen dominant before you even know it, right? So insert, when you say, going back to your story, Insia, when you say that you were on the pill because of cramping and a regular period, that was some basically a preview of the fact that your body was estrogen dominant. Okay.
And back then,
diabetes was present at that time too, which is again, right? Is that correct? Was the diabetes present at that time too?
I got my period when I was 12,
okay.
And I got diabetes when I was 13. So
there's a little overlap. So what you see is that, again, diabetes is an inflammatory disease, again, rooted by the same things we're talking about. So your body was estrogen dominant, and people don't know what to look for. So I wanted to take that opportunity. So continue. You were saying you were on the pill. going back to the fact that now you're saying your family, you and hubby were looking at growing your family.
Right. And again, it was like more of a, I always say it's like it was a passive decision, not an active decision. We weren't actively trying, but we figured like, let's just see what happens. I came off the pill on November of 2014, expecting that usually when you come off the pill, you get your cycle right away. Your cycle starts right away and it sort of resets itself. Nothing happened. And then December came, and around the time when I was expecting it to happen, still nothing. So we're like, oh man, we must have got pregnant right away. We're thinking like, wow. So we took an at-home test, and I literally still have the at-home test. I have it here.
Literally, y'all, literally.
2014, December 2014, and we took it, and it said negative, and I was like perplexed, but I said, okay, maybe it's just really early, and it can't detect it yet. January, we took one again, still negative, and so at this point we're concerned, and so I made an appointment with a GYN, and I'm just like, hey, I'm not getting my period, and he's like, well, are you interested in having a baby? Well, I mean, yeah, but secondary to the fact that I want to know where my period went.
Right.
He's like, well, I can't really help you, but I can send you to an endocrine, a reproductive endocrinologist.
Okay.
So we met.
The reproductive endocrinologist, just so you know, endocrine system is really what deals with your hormones, right? So for people who don't know. So when a gynecologist is saying that's actually beyond kind of like your regular testing, some gynecologists are actually, they are skilled in that area as well. But he referred you to, or she referred you to a specialist specifically in endocrine, because they said, okay, if something's not happening, they even know it's triggered, it's a hormone trigger thing, right? That if something's happened where your cycle is now irregular, that is an indicator that there's hormonally something wrong. So go ahead.
Right. So we went to see the specialist, and so there was a series of tests and everything. And then, so when we come back for the test, then I was diagnosed with PCOS, or polycystic ovary syndrome. And then, she showed me because we took a pelvic ultrasound, and she showed it to me that I had all these little ovary sacs, these little sacs over my ovaries. And this was the reason why my period had stopped, and I essentially had stopped ovulating. And I had to ovulate. And because I had been on the birth control before that, there was really no way to know when it actually started. Right. So at that point, I was surprised to learn that what she said was the best way to treat it, or to live with this condition. She asked me two questions. She said, are you interested in having a baby right now? And at that point, we were still a little shaken up. So we're like, no, not right now, not immediately. And she said, okay, when you are, there are options for you, such as there's a pill we can give you that will make you ovulate. And then there are more invasive options like IVF and things that we can explore. Since you're not interested in that, then we're going to put you on a birth control pill. And what that will do, while it will not let you ovulate, it will allow you to menstruate so that the lining of your uterus can continue to evacuate. And this will keep you from developing problems later on, like cervical cancer, uterine cancer, endometriosis, things like that. So of course that scared me. And I'm like, okay, yes, I'm going to stay on this pill. I'm going to stay on it faithfully. And at this point, it's more of like a medication than, a contraceptive.
Not contraceptive.
Right. So now, and I remember very clearly because I had been doing my own research, you know me. So I've been doing my own research. As soon as I heard about PCOS, I'm like all over. I'm like, okay, what is this? And one thing that I had found,
tell our viewers and listeners what you found, our researcher. What's the PCOS is where your body develops these cysts all around your ovaries, and some of the symptoms are facial hair. The body can produce a lot. Did you have that symptom at all?
Right.
Did you have the facial hair?
No, and that was I didn't have the facial hair. I didn't have the acne. I didn't really have like the headaches or the mood swings. The only thing I had was my period disappeared.
Weight gain can also be a major.
Oh, and that was major because remember, I had been on this downward trajectory and I had reached this goal weight. And around the same time, when I stopped getting my period, my weight started creeping up and up and up. And this was despite me, I'm drastically cutting calories. I'm upping my hours at the gym. And clearly, discipline was not something I was unfamiliar with because that's how I got there. Right. So I was just ratcheting it up in my own efforts, doing everything by my own strength and nothing. In fact, not only was I not losing, but I was continuing to gain.
Now that had to be very discouraging.
Oh my goodness.
This time this year.
It was hard, and it was trying, I would say, on the marriage, just in the sense that there was nothing my husband can do to comfort me. And I had gotten so much satisfaction from reaching my goal and from accomplishing that, which would, for me, I'd been battling weight gain again since I was 13 with diabetes. So to be at this great weight felt like such a great, wonderful thing. And here I had this husband. He's so amazing. He's like, I loved you when you were 215 pounds. I'm going to love you if you're 115. Like, girl, like, you're amazing. But it wasn't sinking in. Yeah. There was just no gratification for me, as time was going on and as I was struggling harder and harder in my own strength to try to replicate the success that I had had before.
Right.
One of the things that I found.
But that's a big deal, because here you are, you've reached this major goal, right? And feeling good, your confidence is up, and now you feel like you're being sucked back in, right? Yeah. You're sucked back in, but now doing everything you did to get here, all of the things that worked are not working, because one of the things with the estrogen dominance that caused the polycystic ovarian syndrome is that it's also bolstered by the fact that you also have the diabetes, right? Mm-hmm. And that you are in this place where it's stubborn. It's because the estrogen's not going down. It's like it's this uphill battle. It feels insurmountable because nothing you do is going to cause the weight to lose. Right?
And no one is telling you, like your doctors aren't telling you, and even research, nothing is telling me that all these things are related. You know what I mean? So one of the things that I researched at the time of my diagnosis was, and this is very preliminary, this is 2014, but I found a website that was just saying some women with PCOS found success by eliminating gluten and eliminating dairy from their diet. Mm-hmm. So I remember thinking, okay, I could do that. That seems easy enough. I took that to the doctor, to the specialist. And I said, okay, well, I'll start eliminating dairy and gluten right away. And I very specifically remember her reaction was like, whoa, not so fast. There's no scientific founding to any of that stuff. You're going to see a lot of things on the internet, so don't just run into the first thing you see. We're going to put you on the pill and you just eat a balanced diet.
Right.
And thinking back in.
The definition of balance is filled with things that are actually, again, now, and we'll get to that point, but driving the estrogen, right? Continuing to increase the estrogen in your body, right? So again, that's that big misnomer, the misinformation around actually the root cause.
And it's funny because when you think about it, had she just encouraged me, even just making those two small changes would have been two small changes in the right direction. Right. And just hearing her say that, it put me further in the wrong path, because now I'm thinking, whoa, everything on the internet is a scam, and let me just, stick with this pill.
Wow.
So this is where we were. So now I'm going through 2015 and into 2016, still gaining weight and, more or less miserable. In early 2016, I sort of actually it was really later in 2015 and early in 2016, I'm, making it known both to Will and to Will is my husband and to my mom and my parents, like, okay, we're ready. Like, I think we want to have a baby, and I know my options are limited because of this condition. But I think we're at that point where we're ready to look into it. But we weren't sure what we were going to do, because everything that we've been led to believe that we would need, it would be a major, a financial cost. Insurance doesn't cover a lot of these reproductive alternatives, you know what I mean? So we were looking at man,
I know the cost.
Yeah. Exactly. And so we're thinking at that point we had been saving for a house, and we're like, well, do we?
House baby.
It's an impossible decision when you think about it. So this is how I know. And again, this whole journey is all happening, and things are happening with my faith at the same time. Mm-hmm. Because during 2016 is when I took a real faith journey as well, where I really, really dove in, not into the religion of Christianity. I dove into the relationship with Jesus Christ. So while this is happening, and this is happening with me on a personal level, my mom happens to see, she's watching the One Network, and she happens to see you, Gessie, and the A team, Dr. Amun and Dr. Amsu, on the show. And one of your patients, and I believe it was
Martin's News One Now show, just so you guys know.
Yeah. Right, exactly. And I've actually I saw it since, and it's phenomenal. So she saw it, and you're on the show. You're talking about how these conditions are, one, that they're disproportionately affecting women of color, and all the things you guys are talking about in terms of the risk factors, in terms of what the doctors are saying, in terms of what the prognosis that we're being given. She recognized that these are all things that I was being told and I was experiencing. And you literally said, Gessie, you said, listen, if you're dealing with PCOS, if you're dealing with fibroids or anything, now fibroids weren't my particular story, but my mom had fibroids, and she had issues with it, not with infertility, but with miscarriages. So when she saw it, she took the number down, and she literally called you, and you spoke to her.
Well, my daughter,
and she was telling you, she's like, hey,
I'm calling for my daughter. I remember she's like, I listen, you know how mama's doing. Yeah, I'd be like, when I talk to mom, okay, mama, because I'm like, I've been raised to show this.
Exactly. I remember. And so after she spoke to you, she called me immediately, and she was so excited. And she was like, listen, I found this thing. And what she really liked about it, it was that there's a spiritual aspect of it. It's an overall healing. So exactly. And she was like, I called, I spoke to her. She was so sweet, so nice. And she said, absolutely, this can work for you, because all of these different conditions that are affecting women, right? My biggest champion. I love her. Love you, Ma. So she said, listen, call them, see what you think, and we'll go from there. So then I call, you and I get on the phone, and I remember after telling you my story, and I was telling you, like, really, I mean, yes, the healing is great. I want to have a baby. Like, that's where I was. You know what I mean? I wasn't focused on this whole idea of having this total healing was still beyond my comprehension.
Like, I don't even know if that's even in the realm.
Right. Like, right. It's true.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I do know that we're ready. We want to have this child, and I'm at this point. And when you get to this point, and all my women who have ever been trying to conceive can understand, where it seems like all your friends are getting pregnant. Even my friends who said they would never have babies are getting pregnant. I see baby videos on Instagram, and I'm crying because, I'm for my own lack, happy for them, but sad for me. Yeah. So when you and I spoke, and I was sharing this with you, and you encouraged me, and then I had got my husband on. I said, will you talk to my husband?
Call him.
Yep. Because we're a team. We do everything together. So, I always say my husband's the pastor of our home, and absolutely. And I knew that I'd be setting myself up to fail if he and I weren't doing this as a.
So let me, because I know also, we have a time limit because we have to go. But I wanted to say, so when you started the program, so you gave us a timeline. You said basically the baby will be due
April 15th.
And what is the year from when you started the program? Is the due date?
Literally, April 15th is the due date. I started the program April 1st.
That's amazing. What an awesome God we serve.
Amazing.
Amazing. And so just to wrap up, so what has been, let me just kind of interject here. So when we started with India, we really started to, first of all, so there were a couple of issues. There was the PCOS, there was the infertility, there was the diabetes, and the fact that because she'd had the gastric bypass, there were digestive implications from that surgery that all had to be factored in. And our first thing, we accelerated because we have a group. That group is amazing. First of all y'all like, we're going to battle this, we got this. I love that initiative. But just the community that you guys have. And really started with the fast, and we made some modifications for you. And we said, listen, the first thing we want to do is accelerate aggressively detox, and then really look at tailoring the way, specifically, again, our focus was getting you to ovulate. I mean, I remember MT was like, I don't have my period yet. It's some age. She was disheartened because she was thinking her cycle had to start for it to mean for her to possibly really get pregnant. And the truth, we said, remember we said the period's not that as important as the fact that we have to know that you're ovulating, because that is the real issue. So I remember that at first she said, wait, this what, and it's not TMI because women dealing with this really need to know this. Like, is this discharge? Is this? I was like, yeah, that's the beginning of you ovulate. It was like this.
I remember.
You're like, is this discharge? Remember that?
I remember that because it was in June actually. So I'd been on the program for about 2 months, right? And we had been in acceleration for about a month. And I remember the moment it came down. And again, sorry for the details, but it was it was so much and it was so sudden that I actually thought I was getting my period.
Yeah, it was kicking in.
Right. And it was just all of this clear discharge. And I remember speaking with you immediately, like, is this what's happening?
Yep. Like, what is this?
And that was literally like we had begun ovulating. This is not something I'd experienced in years by this point.
That's right.
So I immediately went home. Because we're like, we're ovulating, yes.
Let's go.
Right, yes. It's just so. I just want to, if I can just say one thing, because as you know, Sister Gessie, I had struggled on this program. I'd been battling what was essentially a food addiction. That's how I ended up having surgery. And this lifestyle change really wasn't easy. And there were times when I was so low and so down. I mean, you guys remember, like I was just feeling like, I don't know that I can do this. And I have so much to battle. I just want to say that I was looking through our chat messages.
Yep, our chat log.
And at one point in July, when I was reaching out, basically to pretty much say, ladies, I don't know that I can go on. I was already pregnant.
Isn't that crazy?
That had already moved.
Isn't that crazy?
And when you think of, like, again, His grace is sufficient. Because obviously I didn't know. He gave me the grace to keep going through you ladies and your encouragement. I was able to continue. I had the support of a wonderful network, including my husband and my parents. And it's just so funny because while I'm looking for one thing, I'm looking for the period, I'm looking for the breakthrough that I think that I need. He's like, I'm just going to sit back because your miracle is already there.
Woo!
It's just the most wonderful.
Yes. I love it. So, okay, so, let's kind of bring it together. So what is your official impression of the program?
Oh, I mean, it's phenomenal. It is phenomenal. Not only is it that it's effective, and again, it was a total healing because my healing came in stages, and my healing still isn't done. My journey is still continuing.
Right.
But I saw things happen that you can't deny, and this is why I just want to encourage everybody, because I was so busy looking for the period that Sister Gessie had to constantly remind me of all the other hurdles that I was actually crossing. Right. While I was looking at something else. I had begun losing weight. And I hadn't lost weight. I hadn't seen the scale go down in 2 years.
Wow.
So
I want y'all to understand that. She said she hadn't seen the scale go down in 2 years. Again, because the very first thing we do is tackle that estrogen dominance to reduce the estrogen levels in her body. So her body, because what happens is estrogen actually, it happens, the inflammation with the estrogen dominance, estrogen actually causes your white blood cells to increase. Your white blood cells cause the development of white adipose tissue. White adipose tissue, which is that bad fat, actually stores more estrogen, which is why she couldn't lose weight. She literally was in this vicious cycle. But when we tackle the estrogen and we reduce the levels of her estrogen, increase the progesterone so that her fertility now is increased, right? She was able to start losing weight because her body is now showing evidence that it's able to do the things it can do, right? It metabolize, right? Metabolize, develop brown adipose tissue, to eliminate white adipose tissue, and then also again the fertility piece for her cycle to for ovulation to start to now to getting pregnant. Amazing. And do you recommend the program to others, and why?
100%. One, because it was a journey that I had I had support with. So whether you're doing it one-on-one with just Gessie or whether you're doing it with a group, that's really what I would recommend, because this is such a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
It's not a diet. It's not, it's not a regimen where you're, taking a pill and then no. You're inside and out. A transformation, a renewal of your mind is what's happening. And your entire lifestyle, literally from the time of day that I'm walking, out and getting my sunlight, from, the habits that I'm taking on before I go to bed. All these things I'm considering and changing. So having the support of the other women, I would recommend it 100%, because literally knowing that there are people who are battling the same thing as you and who can really give you that good, encouraging word every single day, that was a blessing to me.
What I tell people is how that accountability in the coaching part of the program, because some people are like, well, I just want the supplements. And I was like, the problem is you're going to fall off. And I'm not trying to discourage you, because it's very easy to fall off. Life happens, and it's very easy to fall to your regular programs, what do you call it? Defense mechanisms, your regular program coping mechanisms, right? What I love, I remember there were times you would say in the chat, because we have the weekly group coaching sessions, and then there's the chat, the text chat throughout the week. And I was like, I'm struggling today, ladies. It was like this. Honestly, like, no, we got you. You're not alone.
That's right.
And the thing is about having that accountability really is, because it is a 180 lifestyle change. I tell people it's not a 25, 15% shift. It's not a pivot. It is total 100% 180 turn change. And that's
right.
why, if you were to give people a glimpse of what it was like being in the coaching sessions, what was that like for you?
I mean, I looked forward to them so much, because not only was it my chance to share my experiences and get my encouragement, it's almost like if you have a faith tank or an encouragement tank, and as you're going through the week, you're doing it, and it depletes little by little as you meet these challenges. And every time we would get together, it's like, yeah, they're refilling my tank, you feel ready. But it was also my chance to give to them. And you really feel like, man, I get to be a part of these other women's healing. These are my sisters, we're on this journey together. And there's something about knowing that it's not just about you, but that there's something that you have to contribute to the healing of other women. And that's such a gratifying feeling. And
the connectedness, like, you know what, I can't give up, because if I give up, she's going to give up. I can't give up, because that's the other thing I saw. It was like, I remember one day, King was like, I can't even find a cantaloupe that's good. And you were like, look for this, look for that. And you sending links on order on online. Awesome. So I want to say, listen, if you're battling, like I said on the TV show that day, if you're battling PCOS, fibroids, endometriosis, infertility, or any other reproductive inflammatory disease, and you want to learn more about how estrogen dominance develops in your body, how you can eliminate it, and be free to live a healthy and whole life, and focus on the assignment that has your name on it instead. Then download our free teleseminar at www.hopebeyondfibroids.com/elimination. Then schedule your free consult with me at hopebeyondfibroids.com/consult. And let's get you started on this journey of healing, so you too can have your amazing testimony. Insia is proof positive, and listen, we're going to be following this journey along. She knows we're already scheduling our auntie trip, because we're not this baby. I already claim it's a girl. Will thinks it's a boy, but I'm feeling girl vibes, right? So please also subscribe to this channel to continue receiving the Detox Your Life podcast. And all of the healing content that we have for you, because all we want to do is to keep living a life of healing and joy, because that's what you're supposed to do. That's what you're supposed to have. All right. Cynthia, do you want to say anything else before we close out?
I just want to encourage every woman to love yourself enough to give it a try. works. Don't talk yourself out of it.
Yeah.
You have literally at this point nothing to lose, and you have all the love and encouragement and healing to gain. So if nothing else, just go on there, listen to the teleseminar, and book the consult. Speak to her, because me speaking to you is ultimately what made me know through that and through prayer that this was for me. So just take that first step. Love yourself enough to do that much.